Hello everybody, John Craig here with Performance Plus Tennis. You know, when it comes to the serve, there's so many elements and so many things that we could think about to make it very complicated. So in today's lesson, I'm going to give you a simple checklist of things that you can work on, and I'm going to give it to you in the sequence in which things occur and help you move through these different key elements of the serve to help improve your serve performance. Step one is all about the setup to serve. And for many recreational players, we hurry, we rush, we don't really put enough attention and detail into how we set up. But it is so important that you get prepared to set up your serve so it starts to feel the same every single time. So very important, of course, come up, and ideally you're going to be side onto your target because we want to be sideways so we can create power with our torso as we serve the ball, of course. So get your feet about hip width apart, nice and relaxed. Take a nice deep breath, relax, let your arms just kind of hang, let them just relax down. Make sure you try to get yourself into a continental grip and just relax here, and then create a routine where you feel makes you feel like it's got a rhythm that actually will start your serve. And that's why you see pros do this. Every single pro comes up and they try to get into a weight shift and a weight transfer that starts to feel like the serve. So take your time at this stage. And as you see, most pros, they really slow down and take their time. It's very rare that you see any high performance player just come up and just start serving the ball quickly. So there is, the serve is unique, and that is the one shot in tennis that you are in control of, and it is a very deliberate movement. I don't want you to overthink it, but I want you to know what it is that you're actually trying to do. The second checkpoint on the serve that you really want to focus on is how to control the ball placement. And of course, so many players, even at the higher levels, struggle with consistently placing the ball. So in order to control the ball, you've got to know a couple of key things. First of all, you have to know where in this movement that you want the ball to release from your hand to get the ball in the area consistently. So you've got to know where that spot is. And then you also have to understand that while the arm is rising up to that place, your body's got to stay as quiet as it can. If your body is busy during this phase, how are you going to control the ball? So when you're tossing the ball, what I feel and what you see most pros do is that they will shift slightly to the back foot so it's counterbalancing and steadying the body while the arm is rising to the point of release. And the point of release is going to be just about the top of the head right here. And I call that eye level because when the arm is rising to that area, my eyes are already sitting on that angle waiting to see the ball. So my eyes are actually helping me release the ball at the right place. So ball placement control is going to happen if you have a steady body and you know where you want to release it. And then you can get consistency in your ball placement. Very, very important because the toss is really kind of the epicenter of the serve. If the toss isn't in the right place at the right time, everything else is going to have to adjust in order to play the ball. And then you're no longer really in control. You're just making spontaneous adjustments to make a serve rather than really being in control of what you want to do. So step number 2, really work on that ball placement, knowing where you want to release it, knowing how you want to be steady and silent with your body until the ball leaves your hand. And that way you're going to get good control over the ball. And if you want to really dive into the toss and get all the details, look at the most popular video here on the channel, and that's how to perfect your ball toss. That's going to help you really iron out some of the details and help you further with your ball placement. Next up, you have to get yourself into what we call the trophy position. And the trophy position is a position of balance and control, and it's where you've actually stored energy. So you feel like you've rotated back and you've got a good stretch in your left side if you're a right-hander like myself. And you've stored energy that you can then reverse that movement back to create power. And one of the analogies that I like to use is like a bow and arrow. When you're pulling the bow back, pulling the string back, you're tightening that bow, you're getting that stretch in there, and then you're able to release that, and we'll get into that later, how that works. But you want to get yourself in that position where there's a stretch that you can then pull in reverse, and that's going to help you create a lot of power. But if you don't get into a good balance, then you're just going to be arming the serve. So a good trophy position or a good balance would be characterized by approximately a 45-degree angle in your shoulders, the left arm straight up, the racket sitting in a throwing position like I'm ready to throw a ball. And then with my legs, I'm going to have a comfortable flex in my legs. And because my right hip is a little lower than my left hip, I'm going to have a little more bend in my right leg, and I'm going to be on the ball of the foot here. And you could be on the ball of both feet, or you could have the left foot down flat for a right-handed player. But this needs to happen because if I go like this Do I look like I've stored energy in the back? I haven't stored any energy in that back. I have nothing to push with. So I've got to get a little comfortable flex. Doesn't have to be extreme. Doesn't have to be at the level of professionals. But if you get a little flex in there, now you have something that you can push out with that's going to help propel you up to the ball. So key element trophy position. Leg flex is comfortable. 45-degree angle. Left arm vertical for a right-hander. And get yourself into a good position here. And you should be able to hold this balance. You should be able to stay here comfortably because I'm in balance. I'm basically that was the front view, of course, and from a side view, I'm just sitting here very comfortably like this, and I just get my hands up in position. I'm there in my trophy position. And you've got to get there in order to really optimize your serve performance. And checkpoint number 4 is the contact point. And this is really so important because the ideal contact point will give you optimal power. It'll also give you the ability to control the ball and really help your serve performance. And at the rec level, we see contact points everywhere. We see them low, right? We see low contact points. We see contact points to the right. We see all kinds of things. But the ideal contact point is something you've really got to focus on. So you have to know where it is, and you have to understand what it feels like to get there. So once you're in your trophy position and you're going to play the ball, and we're going to assume now that you can place the ball into that powerful swing, the contact is going to be above and even slightly inside the shoulder. See how the racket is inside my hand? We also see a lot of rec players that think that we're trying to reach up, so we see a lot of this where the racket's above the hand. But you can see that that's actually a weak position. You're going to get a lot more power. It's going to be a lot more comfortable and natural for you if the racket's on a slight angle inside your hand. And you can see that that's between my shoulder and my ear. And this is the ideal place for you to get a comfortable extension up to contact and also pronation through your contact, which is going to help increase your racket speed and give you power. So from the back view, you can see where that contact point is ideally. It's more above me, okay? It's not outside the shoulder. And then from a side view, it's going to be slightly in front of me so I can lean into it slightly and get into it here forward. Okay, I don't want to be too far forward because if I go any more forward than here, there's only one place my swing can go, and that's down. So when you make contact, you want to make contact at the apex of what would appear to be like an arc, and there's the apex. If I go past the apex, I'm either going to have to push it to get it in the box, or I'm going to hit down on it, it's going to go in the net. So contact point has to be slightly in front, coming in here, and I'm in this type of an angle right about there. And now notice one other thing here. Notice how my head is in front of my shoulder. I'm actually looking this way. This is just another side note here, is that a lot of recreational players serve this way, and their head is behind the shoulder. But you can see how weak this looks and how I really can't get into a powerful position. But if I get my head out of the way and get it slightly forward, look how powerful I am now, and I can look up at that contact. This is the ideal position for you to be in, is right here, okay? See that? So you got to work on that contact point. Now, the way to work on that is to practice your serve without the ball, right through that contact, and then start practicing the skill of placing the ball, and then just blend the two together. Blend your movement together with your ball placement, and really try to achieve that optimal contact point. And checkpoint number 5 is all about what happens after contact, and that is the completion of the serve. And this is a confusing topic because there's a lot of information out there that says finish across your body and so forth, but it's very important you understand exactly what that means and when that happens in your swing. So the ideal swing is when you're coming into the ball here, and if, assuming you have a continental grip and you're coming in on edge, you're going to pronate your strings to the ball, and then the energy of that pronation is going to take the strings past the target line and turn it over. And now the racket's really out to my right. And if you think about it, it's much more comfortable for you to rotate your arm out and away from you than it would to be bringing it into you. So you see a lot of recreational players that have this idea like, I got to finish across my body, and they come through and they pinch into themselves. And there's no pronation in that movement. So the racket head can only move as fast as I can get my arm to move. And there's really nothing in there. There's no potential for having a great serve. So ideally, you're going to let that racket head relax and go through the ball and advance past your hand into a pronated position, and the racket's going to come down to your right side. In fact, try not to feel like you swing towards your target. just go up and make contact with the ball. Once you touch it, it's gone. Let the racket come comfortably to your side this way, and then it does come across you. But it comes across you at the bottom like this. It doesn't come across in the downward part of the swing. It comes across at the very bottom right here, and it floats back to you. And why does it do that? Because I need to get it back here so I can get ready for that return and get ready to play the point. But the serve, the ball is way gone by then. The serve is over. I've played the ball, the racket is going to come to my right like this, and it's only going to come across me right there, and then it's going to come across at the bottom. So it almost feels like it's floating this way. See that? The racket's floating across me at the bottom. It's not descending and crossing, and that's really important, not only for performance, but also to prevent injury to your shoulder. So you may be thinking now, well, how do I put all this together and practice it? Well, practice it in the sequence in which this information was delivered to you, and take your time. So for example, if you come up and you take your time with your routine and you practice getting very comfortable and relaxed, you've passed through stage number 1, right? And then work on the skill of placing the ball and isolate that. Just don't go past this stage where you're placing the ball and getting into your trophy position. And then once you've mastered that, put the ball away and just go back and start working on how you get to the trophy position, and then work on how you get to contact. And just keep working on the feel of that movement, okay? And then you can work on how the serve motion progresses past contact, so that you just go up through contact, turn it over and bring it down. And keep rehearsing that, because that sequence, if you just keep rehearsing that and practicing that and getting closer to perfecting that in your own style and being very comfortable, then you can place the ball back into the movement and actually put all the pieces together. But those are your 5 key stages that are essential to having a good serve. Now, if you're struggling to put the pieces together to your serve and you want to dive deeper into it, click on the link in the description down below and check out my Serve Foundation course, which has helped thousands of recreational players like you worldwide improve their serve performance. Included in that is also video analysis, so I'm guiding you through the course and helping you with your serve, and it really makes a big, big difference. I'm going to be your coach through this whole program. Thanks so much for watching today's video. Give us a like, leave your comments down below, subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. Stick around, we've got a lot more coming here at Performance Plus Tennis. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next lesson.